You've got Talk Erie on your radio. Got Talk Erie on your radio, 105.9, 103.3 AM 1530, and live on YouTube and Facebook and TalkErie.com. Having the crucial conversations that Erie needs from our Kingdom Financial Group studio. Mondays, we talk politics. We bring in the political guru, the guy that's effectively been governing as well as won elections, the Harbor Creek Township Supervisor, Dean Pepicello. Dino, let's talk.
I have two things. Do you mind? Quickly.
Yeah, go.
Two things. First of all, massive lightning strike downtown
on
my way in here. So I'm thinking I almost got struck by lightning coming in here. I don't know if that's ominous or a sign or any of that, but holy cow, jumped out of my skin. Number two, I want to thank my wife, Michelle, because I didn't even know I owned an umbrella, and it was in my vehicle. Didn't even know. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Of you.
I'm going to, soaking wet I'm going to be by the time I get here. Lo and behold, there was an umbrella in the back I wasn't even aware of, so.
Yeah. Kudos and plaudits, as Jimmy would say, right? Kudos and plaudits to Michelle. Seawolves championship game tomorrow night. You working that one?
I'm not. I worked the last one to wrap up the divisional series, which was cool. They've had two guys who are fantastic, who kind of share the duties, who have worked a lot more games than me.
Yeah.
They deserve to do it, and they'll be awesome. But let's wrap it up tomorrow night. It's incredible. Honestly, incredible. When you're looking at 4 straight, 3 straight, whatever the
this
3
will
straight.
be back to back to back.
If they can win it,
yeah,
exactly, and 4 times in the division series, and we don't know how lucky we are right now. And you're getting used to this. This happens all the time. Late September baseball in Erie, and it doesn't work like that. But
it's remarkable.
It's very cool, man. Very, very cool. Very cool for the town.
While we're talking local here, Stacey Garrity, the state treasurer, is in town for her governor's race. I think this preemptive move may give the GOP kind of a lock, and they may not be looking to other folks because she's proven that she can win a statewide race.
Oh, yeah. Got a ton of votes, right? The most votes in any of the races. So, no, I said before, it's an uphill battle to beat Josh Shapiro. I think everyone understands that. But if you were trying to design from scratch a perfect candidate, a woman, military background, fairly popular, who has won a statewide race with a huge number of votes, that would be your candidate, I think. So she's going to be the candidate. She'll be the nominee. I don't think that's an issue at all. Doing all the right things isn't enough. We'll see. It's so early. The state is clearly trending red. It just is at this point. Registration is going that way. Bucks County, I want to say, one of the 2 major counties outside Philadelphia, has flipped to red. 20,000 votes gone a different way, flipped to red here in the last few months. Erie County's within almost 5,000 votes of flipping to red. There is an aggressive campaign going on. Republicans have done a heck of a job, and traditionally they haven't been very good. They haven't been very good at mail-in ballots. They haven't been very good at this grassroots stuff as a political organization. Individual candidates can be pretty good, depending. But the party they really are doing a heck of a job at this. I think you're finding a country today that is trending conservative. Today. I'm not saying it always happens. It doesn't always happen. The country always ebbs and flows. But this country and this state and this local area right now are trending conservative today. Can change tomorrow, but today that's where things are at. So all of these things, I think, probably buoy a Garrity campaign as she comes into town today.
Is it conservative or is it populist? Because a lot of what we're seeing doesn't look like, Reagan conservatism or Reagan republicanism. It seems like it's more of a, let's blow up the deep state kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I get it. Great question. And my knee-jerk reaction is populist because Donald Trump is a populist. But when you look at the Charlie Kirk movement, I guess when you look at the issues of this particular populist movement, they tend to not be liberal. I won't say they're conservative, but they certainly aren't liberal as liberal identifies itself today. I think that's just the reality. So it's both, but it tends to lean conservative right now, I would say.
Yeah. Let's you mentioned Charlie Kirk, the humongous memorial, 5 hours long. It went from 2 until 7 East Coast time. NBC News on their streaming channel carried it wall to wall. It was a hugely Christian I mean, a conversation about Charlie's faith. You had the Secretary of State basically, giving an altar call almost, talking about Jesus and choosing him. It was moving to see the widow get up there, and basically she said, "I forgive the shooter,"
Mm-hmm.
who basically, she destroyed her world, but she also didn't. She looked victorious to me, because they're talking about hope in the future. What are your thoughts?
I was in and out with it. It was so long.
Yeah.
I had some other things going on. I didn't see Trump at all in the speech. I did see Erica Kirk. I thought it was the most poignant moment. Her eyes are captivating.
Yeah.
Like you could see the whole world in her eyes. It was amazing to me. The first thing I thought was, man, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I certainly couldn't do it at her age. What she did. I thought her speech was incredible and very sad to me. All of it. I'm troubled a little bit by I want to be careful about this. I know that Charlie Kirk had strong political opinions, and it's a political assassination, and you can't talk about Charlie Kirk or probably have a memorial to him without it being political. Everything in life is political. I'm troubled a little bit by fireworks, sparklers or whatever.
Right.
Those,
yeah. Some of the optics you didn't like. Yeah.
Right. I'm troubled by some of the politics that goes on in a memorial, but at the same time, I get it. It's who he was. It reminded me, if you remember, the Paul Wellstone Memorial. Right?
I thought of that too a little bit, especially at the end. When, I mean, Donald Trump really, again, he was passionate about Charlie Kirk, but he really turned it into some policy, talking about, hey, we're gonna shout out about autism and stuff. It's like, what, what's that have to do with anything?
And in that many hours, that's going to happen.
I guess
you're going to have. I wondered what Charlie Kirk thought. That was another thing that I thought. I wondered what he thought. Right? He's gone. Assuming he's looking down, is he thinking? I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know. I guess I'm saying it bothered me a little. At the same time, I'm a political animal. Politics is in everything. I understand why it was part of it, but I'll be honest. Some of the optics, I just a little pause was all. But it's a sad day. Sad day for the country, without a doubt.
There's no doubt about it. Let's grab a phone call here. Hi, you're live with Dean and Joel on Talk Erie.
Yeah, guys. Actually, that ceremony started at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, that's right. They had a worship service before it, right, or something?
Right. They had bands singing gospel music, and it was great. And I watched the whole thing all day, but it was great up to the point until Trump spoke. He had to make it all about him. He talked about how D.C. is so safe and how he's responsible for that and how it only took him a couple days to do it. And he talked about his terrorists, which to me this was the wrong time for any of his nonsense. But that's what Trump does. It's me. Look at me. Look what I've done. Look at the clown show. Now he just recently, he's making the media sign something at the Pentagon briefings that they won't get out of line, and if they do, then they can lose their credentials. So, do we actually have a dictator in this country? I'm kind of thinking so. But anyhow, Dino, I see your favorite person, Jimmy Kimmel's going to be back on tomorrow night.
I don't think I've ever seen the dude, but dude, I don't stay up past 10 o'clock, man. Is he on before 10?
He's going to be back on tomorrow. I mean, listen, how great is this? Freedom of speech lives, right? I mean, this guy went blackface one time, and he's right back on here. So I don't want to hear about cancel culture, because he wasn't canceled, but. And you do watch him, Dino. I know you do. You told me you did before.
I don't.
You guys have a great show there.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
What time is he on? I don't even know
He's
what time
on
he's
at like 11:30.
That ain't happening.
My alarm goes off to go to bed at 9:30. Get ready for bed.
Yeah,
that ain't
happening.
Exactly right.
It's an interesting one. I felt I get the whole, and I thought Congressman English did an incredible job talking about his opinion of the FCC.
Yes.
Chairman and his opinion on all of that. I think ABC, you work for your organization, right? And I work for 17,000 people. I have 17,000 bosses. That's how this works. He works for ABC, for Disney, and they can make that decision. That's how this works. You work for them. If you don't want to work for them, then do something else. Work for yourself and live with your own consequences, whatever. So I always felt, I think Kimmel apparently has lost the money, right? This whole viewer issue. But people spoke, right? Canceled subscriptions, large outcast. I get people are confusing. The First Amendment is about we can speak out against the government, right? It doesn't say you can say what you want in essence about the government. It doesn't mean you can say anything, period. You still have accountability to whomever you work for or whatever. So whatever, at the end of the day, he's back. I get it. I understand all sides of it. If he'd been fired permanently, I thought he earned it. But I don't consider this a First Amendment issue.
Interesting. Let's get another phone call here. Hi, you're live on Talk Erie. Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yes.
Good.
Doing good.
All righty. I just wanted to comment on the last gentleman who called, and he was talking about the clown show with Trump and everything. But if he watched it all day, he would have realized that all those points that Trump brought up were things that Trump discussed with Charlie Kirk while Charlie Kirk was still alive and working with him. The Chicago safety, the safety in the country in Washington and everything else. So I think when folks call in and they say, hey, I watched it all, you have to put aside your like or dislike for somebody and really tell people the truth.
Okay. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
One more call. Hi, you're live on Talk Erie with Dino and Joel.
The paisanos, the three delinquents.
There
All
you
right.
go.
Trump didn't fire them, or any of these people got fired by the boss, by their company. And you're right. People think that I can say, yeah, you could. There's consequences for things you say.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows how civics class needs to be made just as important as algebra, or maybe even then.
Can I push a little bit, Gino? Because the concept of the FCC commissioner saying we could do this the easy way and the hard way was absolutely inappropriate. And I tell you what, that sets a dangerous precedent for when the shoe is on the other foot and it is a Democrat that's in the Oval and has an FCC commissioner. But free speech has got to be elevated. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, Joe. See, I know what you're trying to say. I get it. That makes sense. Yes, let them talk. Let them bury themselves, I say. But, it does, you want to rewind a little bit and say, okay, well, they did it too. Remember, they took Roseanne Barr off. They brought her show back, and they got rid of her because she was too outspoken against,
But the FCC didn't weigh in on that, and that's the scary part of this.
Of course they didn't. Of course they didn't. Yeah. ABC did it all on their own. And you really think if they pressured that ABC would have said we were pressured to remove him?
Yeah. I don't think they would admit that, no.
So what they got scared of is Jimmy Kimmel went to his attorney and he said, well, you got to pay me.
Yeah.
They had to pay, so they're like, well, they'll make them work. Now and then what? Hopefully, and Trump will be gone and he'll still be there. But if you go back, there's a clip where I think 60 Minutes was interviewing Johnny Carson.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, we didn't get into heavy politics because you're making yourself. You have a captive audience that you are basically now you're preaching to them.
Right. Yep.
This is how you should.
I'm going to keep moving. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it very much. Peace. All righty. Yeah, I mean, Dean, wasn't it Michael Jordan says Republicans buy
shoes
Nikes too.
Exactly
so
right.
I'm not going to mess with that. Back in a bit. Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. Dean Pepicello is with us here. Let's talk again more about this whole thing, Dean, as far as, we're cruising through a government shutdown. I mean, there is basically... What I've heard is that the base for the Democrats is pushing hard that this happens, that they shut the government down to stop Donald Trump, even though it hands a lot of power back to the executive branch in the whole thing. What do you think?
Yeah, that was a nice teaching moment from the congressman. I learned a lot there. I just speaking politically, because I don't, the workings of the government, that all matters. I'm sure it matters to Congress people and the president. Politically, I think Phil talked about how the shutdown was very difficult for him, right, in those days. This is a very different country now, and it is a very different Republican Party. This is Donald Trump's Republican Party, and his approval might be at 40%, but the approval of Congress is below that. And I think that you're seeing, in particular, a MAGA movement which hates the government. They hate it. So they're good. If it shuts down, this isn't a big deal. Unless you're not getting a paycheck or you're not getting a service, and there will be some of those people.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that they're affected, and I get that. And those people would be against the shutdown, and I understand all the problems that come with it. But you've got a large majority of this electorate coming into a congressional election year that doesn't care. They don't care about the government. They think there should be very little government anyways, and Donald Trump is the head of that. I don't think he loses politically. I don't in any government shutdown. I think Congress does as a general rule. Not every congressperson, depends on your district. But I think Trump wins that sort of showdown.
Do you think the Democrats are playing with a weak hand, that they'll end up folding because so much of their base is required, to have, timely, just a functioning government for whatever it is, whether it's direct support or, for the nonprofit that they work with that gets grants or whatever.
Democrats don't control the presidency, nor the House, nor the Senate, nor most of the governorships. And as I said earlier in the hour, the country is trending red today, could change tomorrow. All of those things are factors. Where is their leverage? Exactly what is their message? Stopping Donald Trump? Because most of the country doesn't necessarily, a large portion of the country doesn't necessarily want Donald Trump stopped. Might not like him. They don't necessarily want him stopped. I don't see how, politically, I don't see how the Democrats win a showdown on shutdown.
Yeah. That's interesting. We had the former president Barack Obama here in town. That thing blew up a lot further than I was anticipating.
Agreed.
I mean, I didn't necessarily see a lot of national media there. I was sitting right in the media bullpen, yet it was everywhere. It was quoted on NBC News on the Today Show immediately following. It was on CNN. President Obama, putting out clips and things. Thoughts about that? I mean,
Well, you were there. I wasn't.
Yeah.
The crowd size surprised me. He still draws a crowd, no doubt.
It was a very friendly crowd too.
Oh, I'm sure it was, no doubt. And the timing is incredible on the Charlie Kirk thing, right? If you couldn't fall into better timing, I hate to say that, but it's like this business. Unfortunately, the worst events make the best talk radio. It's just how life is. I think kind of the same is true. Again, I'm incredibly impressed with Steve Scully. I'm such a big fan of that guy. My goodness. But I wasn't there. All I had was TV coverage. What was the average age of the people there? It looked like it was 60. Like, was it an older crowd?
It was an older crowd, but that's what the Jefferson generally draws. But there were quite a few younger people.
Were there? Okay.
And in fact, students still could go free as long as they, registered for it.
Okay.
So they filled that 7,000
okay.
7,000 seat stadium.
Yes, I'm only looking at some of the TV coverage, and but I'm like, man, there's a lot of people my age that seem to be going into that, and I thought to myself,
well, they probably were in the expensive, the $80 seats too.
Okay,
the
that
older
could be. And I thought to myself, is Obama's time past? I thought that to myself, seeing that crowd. Not fair. I'm judging it on, you were there, right? And it's.
He said something about norms. He said something about we used to be able to agree on things, and now we don't. And that was, I mean, that's basically Trump's appeal, though, is that he destroyed the norms.
Yeah,
is it?
I'm not, I don't buy that argument.
Okay.
I don't. I've read a lot of history on this country. Yeah, there are times in the country you get along, right? There are times, and there are leaders who are capable of, say, bringing enough people together to form some sort of majority coalition. The numbers are never 75%. The numbers are 65%, or not even 65, 55%. Like that's a large majority in this country, right? Lincoln won his second election. They think it was a landslide. It wasn't a landslide like you think, right? It was Abraham Lincoln, for goodness sakes. The country's never. Some people are more dividers than not, but in general, this country is down. It's separated by very little, and people are committed to their opinions. So we used to hit each other with clubs, and now we do. I mean, I understand it should be what Charlie Kirk said. We should have spirited discussions, right? I know it gets away from it. Those are awful things and should never happen. But I don't think the country's much different than ever from the formation of this country. Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson have very different opinions on how this.
They hated each other.
Exactly, and it still works today. And it still works today at the ballot box. It's still a country of ideas and winning elections. That's still true today. I know there's some bad things that happen along the way, but that's still very true today. No, it doesn't. I know Donald Trump's far different than George Bush, right? George Bush tried to bring people together. You can name the presidents were leaders in this country. It's much easier said than done.
We're talking to Dean Pepicello. He's our political guru. Got news next here on Talk Erie. Appreciate you tuning in to Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. Also live on YouTube and Facebook every week on Mondays. When we can do it, we invite our political guru and the Harbor Creek Township Supervisor, Dean Pepicello, to join us here. And Dino, let's talk about, Stacey Garrity's in town. She is running for the Republican nomination for the GOP for governor. And it looks like this, unless Doug Mastriano, gets drafted into this, it looks like the field is clearing for Treasurer Garrity to, be the nominee. What do you think?
Well, I said it in the first half hour.
Yeah.
I think she's, if you were designing a candidate from scratch, she's the one you would design. She has all the credentials. I think it has a lot more to do probably with Josh Shapiro at this point.
And is Josh at all vulnerable? I mean, I'm hearing a lot of nipping at the heels. He hasn't been able to bring in a budget on time. There's a lot of, some consideration that, there's a lot of fluff there. Again, these are his opponents that are saying this. I think he's an impressive guy, yet
vulnerable. Yes,
I wonder if he's vulnerable.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Now, if you were betting today, would you bet on Shapiro? Most people probably would. I bet the markets probably are. The polling, I'm sure, at this point shows him in the lead. Many people still don't know Stacey Garrity, despite winning statewide election.
Don't you have to really bring out Philly?
Yeah,
for Josh,
I would think, and again, you're looking at states still trending red, slowly, but going in that direction.
Yeah.
So that works against him. National politics might work against him. He's certainly going to have hung around his neck, and Stacey Garrity has already done that he's already running for president. Right. She has made that the line, she stole this line, but the line she used over the weekend, I saw it quoted today in some sort of publication, was the most dangerous place to be is between Josh Shapiro and a television camera. Somebody used that. I forget who used that before. Right. It's still a great line, but she's used it. So vulnerable, yes. Likely today, no. Had some early victories. Being in local government, we've seen some of the Shapiro things. From an economic development standpoint, he's made decent changes. Has it made a difference in the state as far as economic development? I don't know, but I'm telling you, he's gone in the direction which we think is right as local government. Socially, certainly tied to the teachers union and public school teachers. Backtracked on
a lot of
private schools.
A lot of people are mad about the vouchers. Right. Falling apart after promising them.
And I think that's a nod that he's trying to run a state that's purple and maybe run a national campaign where he has to win a primary. As a Democrat, he's in an impossible situation. Mm-hmm. Does that make him vulnerable? It probably does. Certainly does nationally, statewide. I think that election is going to end up very, very close. But I think it will be a referendum on Josh Shapiro. Mm-hmm. Stacey Garrity is a great candidate, right? You have a lot of good reasons to vote for her if you support her at this point. Not every candidate can say that. So she's in a very good starting point. But the election will come down to, is Josh Shapiro the savior of Pennsylvania? Like maybe we thought that first year. He saved that bridge reconstruction in Philadelphia that collapsed, right? In record time. Mm-hmm. All of those things come out of the box hot. But I agree. As lately as I think probably struggling with this, can I be the governor of Pennsylvania and win in a national election at the same time? And I don't know if you can do both.
Let's talk about former Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Put out a book, and she was pretty relentless about her boss, President Joe Biden, and saying just really he should have gotten out before. A really harsh criticism. What's your take on all that?
Scorched earth, man.
Yeah.
Woman scorned. I don't mean to be sexist about that. She happens to be a female, but I'm sure many men have put out the same type of book. Hillary Clinton put out the very similar book.
Yeah.
By the way.
Well, Hillary was blaming Trump and that Trump was colluding with the Russians. This is
this is false.
Right. This is Joe Biden and Jill Biden.
Yep.
Saying, believing their hubris.
Yeah, and very critical of those that surrounded Joe Biden, that they were just miserable people, and the Bidens were fine. They were cordial. They did what they could. At the end of the day, it was the people that surrounded were just miserable to Kamala Harris. who knows what went on in that. I think it was chaos. The more we learn, it was chaos in that White House. I think this whole pen issue is a problem for them. That presidency was a disaster. I think anyone knows that. And the Democrats are now admitting it now. They're all jumping off that ship. All these people that protected them are coming out and telling the truth. I found one of the most interesting comments from Kamala Harris is a microcosm of what the Democratic Party is going through today. Her top choice for vice president was Pete Buttigieg. That's who she wanted.
Who's a very capable communicator.
Absolutely.
I mean, does great on TV. Why didn't she pick him?
She chose him because he was gay. She says it in the book. That's what she worried that the country wasn't ready to accept it. Also on Josh Shapiro, she thought that no way was he going to be a vice president. No way he wasn't going to be a number two to anybody. So it seems like
I could see that, but I'm surprised about Pete.
Which is interesting for the Democratic Party, which you would think of as being more accepting, I guess, of alternative lifestyles, for lack of a better term, than the Republicans, right? That's probably where the country is today. Most people that feel that way would support the Democratic Party. So you would think if any party would be open to that candidate, it would be them. But politically, she felt the country wasn't ready for a gay person as vice president. And you know what? That's probably true. Right? I think if you're looking at this just objectively as a political pundit, that's probably an accurate statement. So that's a huge problem for the Democrats.
Has she taken a lot of heat from that?
Not that I've seen yet, but the book's just coming out. I think she's going on
maybe
MSNBC tonight, so she'll get a bunch of softball questions tonight. I hope that they asked that question of her tonight. You said in this book you didn't pick Pete Buttigieg because of his sexual preference. So explain it, because the Democratic Party should be the one to go that route, but yet she feared politically that it would harm her. Probably correct. Ends up settling for Tim Walz, which becomes an even bigger disaster. And Pete Buttigieg's answer to that was, I told you I was the better candidate. I'm the better candidate. Right? That was his answer to this. So interesting how this all plays out. And this is a microcosm for what the Democrats nationally are going through right now in this country.
Pull back 30,000 foot view, because it seems, and Bill Maher is highly critical right now. The Democrats don't have an action plan at all.
No.
And they are 13 months away, 14 months away from a midterm, which they could get their clock cleaned again. I mean, again, typically a midterm goes to the party out of the White House, but
only two times since the Depression. Only 2 times since the Great Depression has the party in power maintained that power in Congress. What's that tell you? Twice. So I think they're banking on that. I think they know they've got troubles in their own ranks. They're hypocritical of themselves on this issue alone, and it isn't the only issue. And I think they're saying, we're not Trump, and the party out of power usually wins the midterm. I don't know if it's enough, Joel. I don't know. As somebody who's been around a long time and watched a lot of elections, I'm not sure it's enough at this point. I'm not sure they know it's enough. But to me, that seems to be their game plan right now.
Yeah, let's grab another phone call. Hey, you're live on Talk Erie with Dean and Joel.
I would think that they're using that as an excuse about Pete Buttigieg, because really when he was head of transportation, all the problems he had there, planes crashing, trains dropping chemical, and then they keep going back to the fact that he couldn't keep the potholes filled in South Bend. So I think there's a lot more weaknesses on the national stage than just being gay, but now they can point to the populace being wrong-minded because we're not accepting of another lifestyle.
Interesting theory. I don't know if they thought that deeply about it, but an interesting theory.
Yep. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Yep.
I'm getting a text here. The Dems will vote for a gay man. It's the Republicans that won't, and you need both to win. I mean, when you're running for the general,
so
you got to run to the center, right?
So that texter is backing up Kamala's opinion.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. No. That's what she said. Let's assume she's being honest.
Yeah.
On this issue, it puts the Democrats in an impossible position when, on this issue, which should be an issue favorable to you, you literally didn't pick a candidate who was supposed to back up your opinion because you worried politically. They're in a quagmire without a doubt.
right now, Mayor Pete is actually polling pretty well.
He is. He is.
So I mean, is there an outside shot for 2028
Sure.
that he's
The nominee?
on the nominee?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I at this point, I mean, Newsom is certainly campaigning already. Shapiro's
Do you
name
think he's
will-
peaking
he's
too
coming
early
up.
though?
No. These are 4-year cycles now. That's what they are. No, I think he's got
And
a
is
long way
this
to go.
is this all JD Vance's? Is this JD Vance's party
No
for
way.
2028?
No way.
You think this is going to be a battle in the primary?
Let me.
I mean, I know we're talking way too early, 3 years out.
You're
but,
not.
But
You're not.
what I saw yesterday at the Charlie Kirk Memorial is like, I could see Junior running, I could see JD running, and I could see Marco running. I saw potential presidential candidates at that podium.
I don't see how Donald Trump Jr. is going to be president. I don't see that.
I think he would run.
I think that, and we've talked about this before, the Rubio-Vance thing fascinates me. And if Trump makes a decision to endorse, that person will end up being the nominee. If he doesn't, then it'll be a war. I know Erica Kirk just took over Turning
Right.
Point. They had to, right? I think, man, don't record this. You're recording this, aren't you? Because I know.
Don't record this. It's the internet,
Well, stop
bro.
it. I don't want people to, I'm joking. But
I know.
I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I think, why was Marco Rubio speaking yesterday? Why?
Because he was a friend of Charlie's.
Okay.
right?
All right. I mean, you had the president and the vice
But
president.
I thought he was an incredibly
I know.
effective speaker.
I know.
And he was talking about the gospel. I mean, it was moving. I mean,
I understand.
It was like, wow, Marco, man.
I think they're trending, and Trump is trending toward Marco Rubio. I think in a few years, J.D. Vance will. Remember, he hosted the Charlie Kirk show. They chose him to host the show for a day on this radio station, in this radio network. I think at the end of the day, J.D. Vance will end up being the head of Turning Point, and Marco Rubio will end up as the presidential nominee. I know people think that's crazy.
Wow.
I know. Sometimes you got to take a flyer. on
Right,
things,
right,
You just got to
yeah.
take a flyer just for entertainment sake. I think Trump favors Rubio. I just get that sense. I think Marco Rubio might be a better candidate at the end of the day. I know J.D. Vance is awesome. I'm not saying he's not awesome. And if they end up fighting it out, who knows? We'll see where it goes. I can't see that happening.
Why do you think that Donald Trump didn't pick Marco as his VP this time around?
Donald Trump Jr.
Because Junior wanted JD?
Yeah. Yep. All reports say that. Everybody says that.
And supposedly Charlie Kirk wanted
Yes.
JD for the vice president.
Yeah, I'm sure there are other issues. You don't just pick somebody that's going to be a
Right.
drag on the ticket. J.D. Vance is fantastic, right? But I don't think he just has this clear free pass to the presidency.
I would agree with you.
Right.
Someone is writing here that the Democrats need to get back to working man, bottom line, kitchen table issues. I would agree with that.
I think and I told you this last week or the week before, the Democrats who've been around, old-time Democrats, are going to let this party fail. They're going to let the socialist win in New York City. Go ahead and let AOC be your candidate, because Axios reported over the weekend that she's eyeing 2028. Go ahead, let this party bottom out. And I just think that's what it's
a march to the left.
That's what's going on, and I think there has been a battle in that party for years now, and I think the old-time Democrats have said, forget it. We're not winning this. We're not winning elections. Let the thing fail, right? Sometimes you do that. Sometimes major league teams sell off everything and start from scratch because it's the better route. I think some old-time Democrats feel like that text.
Wow.
Let it fail, and we'll rebuild it into something that can actually win. I think that's where we are today. Could change tomorrow, but I think that's where that party is today.
My take is that it's going to end up being a governor. It's going to end up being a Wes Moore or Andy Beshear or a Josh Shapiro.
Wes Moore said he's not running, right?
Yeah.
How about Gretchen Whitmer?
Or Gretchen Whitmer.
They've tried the female thing. I think it'll be a male.
Yeah.
So that tells you Shapiro and
I
Newsom.
think Andy Beshear.
Really?
Or Josh, yeah.
How's Beshear going to win a primary? A Democratic primary today?
It's a great question. They would have to kind of eat the. I mean, like they kind of ate their Ovaltine with Biden. They kind of swallowed it with Biden too. Thank you, Dino. Appreciate it, man.
Sure.
Wow, There was a lot there. We'll wrap things up here on a Monday edition of the Joel Natale